Good morning. Kinda. Well, I did promise to do one of these each morning, Monday to Friday across the year, and we will. You're always welcome to subscribe, and you can contact me through my website, gregcarey.com, and I'll always respond. I was thinking last night in connection with a controversy in horse racing, I'll get to in a minute, that one of the big changes in my lifetime, and probably yours, has been our treatment of animals. The circuses we go to now are nowhere near the circuses, thank heavens, that we went to as kids. They were fun, but when you reflect on how the elephants were treated and the lions and the tigers and the bears and everything else, it was all for our gratification. And you look back and you think it was horrible, and it was, but it was the normal at the time. It's what we grew up with. And so we didn't know any different until it was different. Not too far from here over at Byron Bay, they had the whale killing trade for a period some years back, to the extent that the humpback whales in the Southern Ocean got down to about 5,000 in number. This year, about 35,000 passed by the northern rivers. So our attitudes change over time, and so they must for horse racing. Now, I love horses and I love horse racing, always have. In a sense, that's a contradiction, because some people in the industry treat their horses terribly. Most treat them really well. There was a controversy this week when the leading jockey, James McDonald, was suspended last weekend for hitting his horse too many times in the final stages of the race. McDonald appealed, and the appeal was upheld on the basis of the inconsistency of the penalties. Sometimes they hardly get a penalty, which I think is crazy, because horses get an advantage by being hit with the whip, and the penalties usually are very small. James McDonald said something, and it might have been just a clumsy way of making his point, but he said it appeared to him that stewards were placing more emphasis on animal welfare, because he was being suspended, than human welfare, because the argument goes that the whip helps protect jockeys. And he's seen more serious offences when jockeys have done the wrong thing. Now, there is a certain contradiction there at work, and that can be easily solved if the racing industry has the courage, which it must muster, to confront the abuse of the whip on horses. Because there's been a long running debate about whether you should even have whips. Now, you can use a whip to create safety in certain circumstances, but to abuse the whip rules by hitting horses too much, particularly when they've given all they have to give, I think is obscene. So when James says it's either human behavior or animal welfare or human welfare, James, it has to be both. Jockey welfare, animal welfare. And if horses are being hit too many times with the whip, the solution really is simple. Like so many solutions in our society that officials are too afraid to enact, disqualify the horse. Place the horse last. If a jockey abuses the whip rules, even by one hit of the whip, place it last, and it will be solved overnight. A horse will no longer risk losing the Melbourne Cup because its jockey got over-vigorous with the whip. So, James, it's not one or the other, it's both. And it must happen soon. A lot of people said circuses would never change, and they did. A lot of people said the whale trade wouldn't end, and it did. The racing industry can end. It's one of the biggest earners in the country, one of the biggest industries in the country. It doesn't need to end, but it does need to change. And it can't be an each-way bet. Have a great day.